Ramana Maharshi's teachings. How to get over the grief when someone who is dearly loved passes away. Bereavement, the passing away of a loved one, is very difficult to bear. Thoughts torture and torment continuously. Since the mind is weak, any effort to tolerate the sorrow fails. The same afflicting thoughts keep coming again and again, going round and round. Questions keep repeating themselves. Why should this happen? Could I have done anything to prevent it? Under these circumstances, ordinary human beings can offer words of comfort, but they cannot heal the mind. Time will heal a little, but the only thing that can really alleviate the suffering, or at least reduce the sorrow, is association with a guru, a great master, who abides in perfect peace, and who can transfer that perfect peace to us and heal our minds. Such a guru is Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. And here I am presenting some of the teachings he offered to some people who sought help from him to deal with the passing away of someone very dear to them. However, after listening to these teachings of Ramana Maharshi, one may still feel, well, nothing seems to happen to reduce my sorrow. There is no change in me. These teachings are all useless. If you feel this way, that is wrong. It is your ego speaking this way, not you. Ramana Maharshi is a self-realized sage. He is the transcendental higher power appearing in a human form to help us. His words have healing power because he speaks while abiding as the reality, the substratum of everything. Therefore, repeated listening to his words and keeping in touch with him mentally will gradually heal the mind, make it strong, and give it the power to bear the turmoils of life effectively. Events will pass without affecting us too much. So, keep listening to Ramana Maharshi's powerful words and trust them firmly. His words, association with his guidance, and remembering him will help immensely to make you feel better in many ways and lead your life peacefully, because his teachings do not just fix the symptoms of the ailment, but offers a way to remove the cause of the ailment. A gentleman was stricken with grief due to the bereavement of wife and children. He sought peace of mind and asked the Maharishi how to get it. Maharishi, it is in the mind that birth and death, pleasure and pain, in short, the world and ego exist. If the mind is destroyed, all these are destroyed too. Note that it should be annihilated, not just made latent. For the mind is dormant in sleep. It does not know anything. Still, on waking up, you are as you were before. There is no end of grief. But if the mind be destroyed, the grief will have no background and will disappear along with the mind. Visitor, how to destroy the mind? Maharishi, seek the mind. On being sought, it will disappear. The mind is only a bundle of thoughts. The thoughts arise because there is the thinker. The thinker is the ego. The ego, if sought, will vanish automatically. The ego and the mind are the same. The ego is the root thought, the I thought, from which all other thoughts arise. Visitor, how to seek the mind? Maharishi, dive within. You are now aware that the mind rises up from within. So sink within and seek. You are practicing breath control. Mechanical breath control will not lead one to the goal. It is only an aid. While doing breath control mechanically, take care to be alert in mind and remember the I thought and seek its source. Then you will find that where breath sinks, there I thought arises. They sink and rise together. The I thought also will sink along with the breath. Simultaneously, another luminous and infinite I will become manifest, which will be continuous and unbroken. That is the goal. It goes by different names: God, Self, Kundalini Shakti, Consciousness, Yoga, Bhakti, Jnana, and so on. When the attempt of seeking is made, it will of itself take you to the goal. A gentleman lost his wife, with whom he led a happy life for about 12 years. In his grief, he seeks solace. He does not find solace in reading books. He wants to tear them up. He does not intend to ask questions. He simply wants to sit here and derive what solace he can get in the presence of Maharishi. Maharishi, as if in a train of thoughts, spoke now and then to the following effect. It is said, the wife is one half of the body, so her death is very painful. This pain is, however, due to one's outlook being physical. It disappears if the outlook is that of the self. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, the wife is dear because of the love of the self. If the wife and others are identified with the self, how then will pain arise? Nevertheless, such disasters shake the mind of philosophers too. We are happy in deep sleep. We remain then as the pure self. The same we are just now too. In such sleep, there was neither the wife, nor others, nor even I. Now they become apparent and give rise to pleasure or pain. Why should not the self, which was blissful in deep sleep, continue its blissful nature even now? The sole obstruction to such continuity is the wrong identification of the self with the body. The Bhagavad Gita says, the unreal has no being. The real never ceases to be. The truth about both has been perceived by the seers of the essence of things. One is not born, nor does one die. One never ceases to be. Unborn, perpetual, eternal, ancient. One is not slain when the body is slain. As the Gita says, there is neither birth nor death. Waking is birth and sleep is death. Was the wife with you when you went out to the office or in your deep sleep? She was away from you. You were satisfied because of your thought that she was somewhere, whereas now you think that she is not. The difference lies in the different thoughts. That is the cause of pain. The pain is because of the thought of the wife's non-being. All this is the mischief of the mind. The fellow, the mind, creates pain for himself even when there is pleasure, but pleasure and pain are mental creations. Again, why mourn the dead? They are free from bondage. Mourning is the chain forged by the mind to bind itself to the dead. Let the ego die. What is meant by this sort of death? It is annihilation of the ego, though the body is alive. If the ego persists, the man is afraid of death. The man mourns another's death. If he wakes up from the ego dream, he does not have to do so. The experience of deep sleep clearly teaches that happiness consists in being without the body. The wise also confirm it, speaking of liberation after the body is given up. Thus the sage is awaiting the casting off of the body. Just as a laborer carrying a load on his head for the sake of wages bears the burden with no pleasure, carries it to the destination, and finally unburdens himself with relief and joy, so also the sage bears this body, awaiting the right and destined time to discard it. So also the wife. Should you not be thankful and be happy for it? Nevertheless, you cannot be so because of your physical outlook. There will be no pain if the physical outlook is given up and if the person exists as the self. Mourning is not the index of true love. It betrays love of the object, of its shape only. That is not love. True love is shown by the certainty that the object of love is in the self and that it can never become non-existent. Still, it is true. Pain on such occasions can only be relieved by association with the wise, the teachings of the Guru.